Asterism stands for something that is something like a constellation, something that is a collection of things that can be perceived as one, but that is a bit more vague than something that, like a clear constellation of stars, for example. Asterism means it's a collection that you perceive as something, but it kind of also slips through your fingers. So it's kind of at the border of something that is very precise and something that is kind of vague in nature as well. There's also this oracle aspect of the piece where you kind of look for guidance, you look for answers. That is what the piece is mainly about, looking for answers, looking for insight, and looking towards the stars, trying to find shapes, trying to find out what your surrounding tells you and what you can make out of it is maybe works as a metaphor for what asterism does. Asterism is like a simulation. It's a simulation of reality, of spirituality, of our world, of Earth, of nature. It's like a test setting to help you question how you interact with this world, and in a kind of confined setting where we try to how you do it in a model. In a model, you try to eliminate all aspects and all factors that are not relevant and try to break it down on the most basic aspects of what you want to represent. It questions how little do we have to take out of the real world in order to generate a sensation of this nature. So to generate something that gives you the possibility to connect to this world, to accept it, and to maybe find some kind of answer in it, some kind of spirituality in it, something, how far can we reduce the model so that it still works? It's a test setting in that sense that people are supposed, or you are supposed to learn something in it. So, and also people really react very differently to those pieces that I've been doing. So this kind of ambiguity also in what these sceneries offer, I think is a vital point. And that for me also goes hand in hand with this idea of a test setting or of a simulation setting, because it's, I don't want to put a narrative there and say this is how the future or this is how something is. It's more like a comparison offer, so to say. So it gives you a kind of also in itself changing situation with different factors in it, and it's about a bit how you what you take out of it, how you relate to it. You take this, again, this idea of a pilgrimage towards insight or erkenntnis, for something to know, to learn something about this world, to learn something about yourself, and both in a kind of emotional way, but also in the knowledge about this world, about the functionality of this world. It is definitely dealing with what reality today is and what our future today might be. It's a place to go to seek answers. Also is in alignment with the idea of an oracle. So as this kind of entity provides information to the people entering the setting, also those are not clear answers. It is also, as with every oracle, and in this case it's AI produced, so it also has this kind of gathering data from a lot of different places and moshing it up, creating some combined, extrapolated, warped information or truth, and it's very much about what you take out of it. Providing a setting with shifting degrees of artificiality and virtuality and naturalism, I don't know, maybe questions us or provokes us to rethink this, because we constantly have to change it a bit, as it goes from something that almost feels like you're in the nature to something where you're in a kind of technology ritual where you very clearly see that it's a super technology-based created simulation that you're in. And so it's this provocation to rethink and readjust, which I find interesting and which drives me to do this. I wouldn't say it's like specifically a religious piece or dealing explicitly with religion. It's really more the bigger, it's more the seeking for insight, and I think there are just different manifestations in how human people do that. And I think spirituality and religion is one, and like a super rational, scientific way is another. Then there might be also some ways in between. It's very constructed, very artificial. It's like a test tube version of our world, if you want. But it's also very emotionally direct and kind of triggering you and putting you as the person who encounters this setting in the center of perception, and that is reflection of what reality around you is, how constructed this reality is, and how you interact with that, and how modifiable maybe your own perception is, how fluid also you are. Yes. So the whole performative and gestural aspect has been with me for a while. I think I would say it's a subclass of everything that is body related on stage, and here it's again, I think, having to do again with this kind of reduction again of what the body on stage of a person is. So working with lights or with sensors, like measuring the movement of human performers, kind of trying to link it to something artificial, something virtual. So for one, there are those pieces where certain movements trigger certain sounds or certain lights, and those pieces kind of take what is happening here and now and link it to something through technology that is dislocated from it, but that in the first sense often has kind of a one-to-one mapping in a way, so that there's a logic being created. And then, and that is what goes through a lot of pieces, is the creating of a technology-mediated relation, which you accept. That's, again, the topic. You look at it and you take it for granted. And then the idea is to kind of switch it, morph it, alternate it, and kind of put the linkage between what is happening in reality and what is happening in a digital medium connected to it, to put this mapping in the middle, in the center of attention. So, and the warping and changing of those parameters, that's an ongoing field of research for me. Asterism is as much as possible not a show, but and that is maybe also a longer arch of the things that I've been doing in the past, is that I consider those pieces as kind of test settings or experimental settings, and that's how I would also like to see this project for sure.